Hello, welcome to another Gundam Battle Operation 2 video. That is the Unicorn Gundam. And man, after weeks of teasing of something that we already know is coming, yeah, the Unicorn is here, and it's a pretty good suit, you know? There's a lot of questions about if it's really OP or not, or overpowered, I should say. Even the devs were kind of like, we gotta be careful how we make this suit. Or at least it's rumored that's what the devs were like. But yeah, I can safely say it's not exactly overpowered. And what I mean with that, we'll get into it. And yeah, this is a 700 cost general, and honestly, it can turn into a raid depending on what happens. But I have two matches here for you, of course. This first match is actually a match I did later on. One person left the game a little bit into the match, which is unfortunate, and we nearly won the match. Well, I guess damn, that's a spoiler, but yeah, we did pretty all right, and I believe we did a lot of damage as well. And the second match that we have is, I believe, my first match with the Unicorn, which I gotta say beforehand, if you're expecting really high tier gameplay, I'm not the person for that. I'm sorry to disappoint, but yeah, I'm just here to talk about the Unicorn and how it's pretty cool or pretty not cool. We'll see. But yeah, let's get into the stats here. And I think I already mentioned, yeah, it's a 700 general. You have 21,000 health, 24 ballistic resistance, 25 beam resistance, 29 melee resistance, 50 range strength, 20 melee strength, 135 movement speed with 225 boost speed, 75 thruster gauge, 72 turning speed. I believe that turns into 81 in space. And then for when you activate NTD mode, surprise, everybody has NTD mode. The 20 range strength and the 50 melee strength actually swap places. So you'll get 20 range strength instead of 50, and 50 melee strength instead of 20. Now, fortunately, this if you have a part on your melee, like let's say you have 51 or 21 melee strength, you added one melee part, even though that's not possible. The one does not carry over. It doesn't actually swap, right? So your 21 will turn into 51. So yeah, that's nice. And now back to the NTD mode. You get 140 movement speed with 235 boost speed, which is as fast as normal raids at this cost will go. And what I believe, yeah, the 235 is like the tied for the fastest if you don't have any boost enhancement parts on, right? And then it's 87 turning speed. And for slots, you have 18 close, 19 mid, and 16 long-range slots. And yeah, pretty average it seems for the ballistic and beam resistance. 29 melee resistance is pretty up there, you know, 29. And of course, the 50 range strength is pretty high, and the 20 melee strength is pretty low. But when you activate NTD mode, that will swap, and you'll get 50 melee strength, but you'll have 20 range strength, right? Now, the builds I've done for this, unfortunately, because of how the Unicorn plays, I am not very well skilled at melee suits. I've been learning, you know, I've been doing really well at the Bondoc, but this suit is really awesome if you're a really aggressive player. If you're a raid player, you'll probably really love this suit. Unfortunately, because I'm not very good with raids, I can't really make use of the melee, probably because I'm a big fucking pussy half the time. But I've added more range strength to my suit because I want to spend more time. Like, I don't want to activate NTD mode unless I have to. Like, if I get lower to that health, I want to try and poke somebody as much as possible without taking damage. And the Beam Magnum does do a lot of damage, which we'll get into here in a second. You know, your weapons are pretty good, your range weapons. So I want to poke with that more. And then when that NTD activates, I still have 50, you know, base melee strength, and that's still pretty strong. You can, so I do recommend that you build for melee with this suit, because if you can build like almost 70 something, 75 melee strength, and that's really damn good. There's some people you can probably watch, like, I don't know, like the Wind Clan or Sync or something like that, where yeah, they will show you just exactly how strong the melee on the suit is when you activate NTD mode. So definitely you want to build for melee on this suit and stuff that will help you get to it. Unfortunately for me, I'm not too well versed in melee, so I'm sticking a little bit more close to range. So sorry about that, but yeah. But yeah, so the slots are pretty fine. Yeah, you can do a few builds. Even though I told you to do melee, I did do range if you want to do that. But yeah, let's go into the weapons now. Starting off the primary weapons, you have the Beam Magnum, which is 3,600 damage, 5 rounds, 350 range, and you have to charge this to fire it. Fortunately, the charge is really, really fast. Like, really fucking fast. Like 1 second, maybe even less than that. Basically, it already is an instant stun weapon. You have to be careful, though, to not get carried away with having to get that weapon charged and fired. Because there's moments where somebody can be rushing towards you. I've had moments like this where I'm rushing towards somebody with melee, and they're so focused, so hyper-focused on getting that beam rifle charged, that they're going to end up just tanking a whole bunch of I say tanking, they're taking a lot of damage. While they'll do 3,000 damage to me, but they'll end up dying, So just be careful when you want to charge it and when you want to fire it. And of course, the Beam Magnum, since it's so much a powerful beam rifle, that made no sense. Because it's such a powerful beam rifle, it does have a strong blast radius as well, or it does have a blast radius, I should say. And it's one of the few suits to have it. The only other suits I can recall that do have it is like the Gun Cannon 2 and the Masala. But yeah, it seems to be bigger blast radius than the bazookas in this game, which is pretty crazy. And yeah, it does do a lot of damage. I think it does more part damage. I can't tell if it's because of the Unicorn having a little bit less leg health or not, but it seems like it can damage legs quite frequently. So, if you want to aim at somebody's legs and blast them, there you go. But yeah, that's the Beam Magnum. And now you have the Unicorn Gundam Arm Beam Saber, which is 2,900 damage. And of course, if you're in regular Unicorn mode, you only have 20 melee strength, so you have very, very base. It seems like it's a really basic moveset. The downswing, I think, is the new Gundam's downswing, or maybe slightly altered where it somehow feels like it's that downswing, but also different. I think it's actually a different downswing, but yeah, don't rely on it for trying to get kills too much, unless you're trying to stun lock somebody or trying to get somebody down on the ground to follow up on them. Funnily enough, back to the Beam Magnum, it is fast enough to do a follow up on somebody when they get countered or you downswing them. So that's an option too, by the way. But yeah, typical Beam Saber. And now for your secondary weapons, you have the Head Vulcan Mark III, which is 150 damage, 40 rounds, 200 range. And yeah, these are pretty good Vulcans. They fire pretty fast. And if you're just using the Vulcans, and if you hit a good amount of your shots, you will be able to get 2 stuns out of it just alone with that. Of course, that's not recommended just to use the Vulcans, of course, but you obviously want to use your other weapons, or if you miss the your Hyper Bazooka Scatter, your Shrapnel Hyper Bazooka. But yeah, it's pretty decent, pretty good. Of course, 150 damage, and it is ballistic. And ballistic, people don't build for ballistics at this cost that much. So yeah, you'll be doing more than intended damage. Now, for your secondary weapon, you have the Unicorn Gundam Hyper Bazooka Scatter, which we'll just call it the Shrapnel Bazooka. And oh man, we're actually at the end of this match here, and it's unfortunate. We were winning, and then unfortunately somebody dies, and I become the last kill. Hate to see it happen, but hey, technically we didn't lose this match, even though we did lose it. Mission failed, but we didn't lose our ranking, I guess. We didn't lose any points. But hey, let's see what we did though. Hey, top individual and a lot of damage, almost 170k. God damn. And second place, 4 and 2. Yeah, pretty all right. And the next match, like I said, I think it's my first match. All I remember is that I actually got to A+ rank finally, even though this would be my second or third time doing it at this point. Which is funny because as soon as I hit A+ rank, the next match after this, I had a thrower. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, welcome to A+, motherfucker. But yeah, anyway, back to the Shrapnel Bazooka. The Shrapnel Bazooka, it's more in line with the Stark Jagan's Shrapnel Bazooka than something like the Barzam's. With the Barzam, you have to hit 2 direct hits for a stun accumulation stun. The Stark Jagan is pretty much a shotgun on a bazooka. You get a direct hit, it's 1 stun, and they're done. And by done, I mean they just get stunned and you can follow up. It does do a hefty amount of damage if you hit, like, just past their shields, if they even have a shield. I think the most damage I've seen is 3,000 damage on a direct hit. And of course, even if it does hit their shield and all that good stuff, it's still, stun accumulation. You'll get a stun and you can follow up. And there's, because the beam rifle, going back to the Beam Magnum, because it readies up so fast, you can potentially combo into the Beam Magnum, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, the Shrapnel Bazooka is pretty good. You know, I think I often want to start off with that weapon rather than the Beam Magnum, even though the Beam Magnum does have a faster charge. I think it's because you know, Shrapnel does have a longer ready up time, so I want to start off with that and then combo to my Beam Magnum. But I feel like I said Magnum really weird there. Oh well. Yeah, that's pretty good. And of course, we did mention NTD. Oh wait, before we get NTD mode, you get the Unicorn Gundam Shield, which is 10,000 health, and it's considered a large size shield. So yeah, if you're using your shield right, yeah, you'll be tanking a lot of goddamn damage. So yeah, make sure you're doing that. And now we get to the NTD weapons. When you activate NTD mode, you get the Unicorn Gundam Back Beam Saber ×2. Mouthful. That is 2,900 damage, and it does have a sliding downswing. You've probably seen it a few times this match, where you know you do the double swing and the neutral swing. I guess it's just me, but it feels like it does. It's deceptively short. Although I've seen some people hit it from a little bit away. But yeah, it does have a pretty good downswing, and of course, as we mentioned, it can do a significant damage if you're built for melee. And yeah, it's pretty good. Next melee weapon you have, I should mention by the way that these two weapons actually, it gets rid of your Gundam Arm Beam Saber when you have regular Unicorn mode, and these two weapons actually take its place, or well, technically I should say the Back Beam Saber takes the place of the Arm Beam Saber, and then you get an extra melee weapon. But yeah, this extra melee weapon is the Unicorn Gundam Arm Beam Tonfa, which is 3,500 damage, and this melee weapon I actually kind of like because it has a pretty nice utility. The neutral swing is a straight jab, and it does reach out pretty far, and you can use that, of course, to catch people, you know, unsuspectingly, or you know, just to poke at people. The downswing is also one of the sickest looking downswings I've seen. You do like this anime-esque, just fucking slash. It looks fucking cool. I like it. It does do a lot of damage, of course. You know, 3,500 damage base, and of course, if you're building for melee, yeah, you will schmurder people. I believe you can actually one combo some generals. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, now we're on to the skills. You have Shock Absorber level 3. You have a dodge roll or evasion. You have Blast Stabilizer, so mobile suit explosions don't affect you. You have Flight Control level 2, so you can boost while in the air. You have Balancer, so you know that's pretty typical for generals at this cost. That lets you melee after a boost or during a boost. You got to stop, you know, boosting. Do that. You have Radar, which should be obvious. It's a radar. Ambac level 2. I believe that gives you faster turning speed in space, and you can, as soon as you stop boosting in space, you can, if you're holding your joystick forward, you don't do the, you don't swoosh in space, right? You actually just, you come to a stop, go automatically into cruise control, and then you can start firing and stuff like that, right? So pretty good. Force Injectors level 2, you know, Force Injectors you can boost side to side, front to back, everything you want to do. And I believe since it's level 2, you'll take less thruster gauge when you're doing it. You have Melee Combo Controller, that's 2 melee swings. Leg Buffer. You have Counter Program, which is what all 4-star units have gotten so far. And what happens is if you're at, I believe, 20% health, you'll get a unique counter, and the Unicorn's unique counter is you pull up the Beam Magnum and you just tell them to fuck off. You shoot him right in the fucking face. You say, yeah, nice try, motherfucker. Nice try, Zeke, and just blast him. It's pretty cool looking, and it looks even more badass when you get a kill with it because you can tell an easy Z to fuck off and just kill him right then and there. So yeah, I like it. And now we get to NTD mode, which has even more skills for the Unicorn. So I'm going to go ahead and list the NTD skill itself. What the NTD skill does is if you get lowered to 80% damage or 80% health or more, you can decide to press the touchpad button. And as soon as you activate it, any suits within a range limit, I'm not sure what the range is on it. Maybe like 350, just because I feel like that's what a lot of Psychomu weapons have as their range for their weapons. Basically, all Psychomu weapons that can lock on, all lock-on weapons, will not work. They'll get jammed. There we go, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, they'll get jammed, and you can't use them. I'm not sure how long this lasts. I haven't really tested it myself, but it seems to be a good chunk. Actually, a good little bit. There we go. And that can be obviously useful when you're fighting something like the Kshatriya. The Kshatriya can't do its fuck-off funnels, the ones that will shoot in a straight corridor and start melting people. And of course, if you're a Qubelay, I feel really bad if you're a Qubelay, because yeah, you can't use your lock-ons either. So you're just you have to. I'm trying to remember if you can use the follow funnels. I think you can use follow funnels. It's just the lock-on weapons that you can't use. But yeah, there's that. And when you do activate in TD mode, as I mentioned before, your range and melee stats will swap, the base stats. So you'll get 50 melee strength, and of course you get the 2 extra melee weapons, or 1 extra melee weapon technically. And a downside to this is as soon as you activate it, your health will start draining. And this can be a pretty bad thing depending on what's happening in the match. You don't want to activate NTD mode in front of 4 enemy teammates, because you're already losing health, and then you're just going to lose even more health, you know? So, obviously, I mean, you can use it in front of somebody to tank some damage, right? Also, this will heal all of your leg health and head health as well as soon as you activate it. So that's pretty nice, actually. The Unicorn does... It seems to have some pretty legs. I've had it almost break a few times, but you know, of course, since I'll be taken down to 80% health, I'll just yeah, okay, I'm gonna use NTD mode. Boop. All right, I'm good to go. And of course, when you do activate NTD mode, you actually have the option to activate Awaken mode. And if you guys noticed, when you do activate NTD mode, you'll see a counter, or a countdown. My bad, a countdown. You'll get 45 seconds, and when it reaches 0, you can activate Awaken mode. And what Awaken mode does is you will regain 6,000 health, and you will start taking 20% less damage. But the downside of this is that your attack power is actually reduced by 20% as well. So yeah, pretty much what happens is you become a range unit as regular Unicorn, then you become a super strong, like almost a raid when you activate NTD mode, and then you can become pretty tanky when you activate Awakening mode. And the best part is it stops that health drain, and well, I already said the best part is you take less damage, but you know, it helps that you don't have the HP drain either. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention that the NTD mode, the skills for the NTD mode, my bad. For NTD mode, when you do activate NTD mode, I believe it's the same for when you activate Awakening as well, is you will get a, it says evasion level 3, and I'm trying to remember if that's actually a triple dodge roll or if that's a double dodge roll with even more thruster gauge left over. It's one of those. You get flight control level 3, so you can use even less thruster gauge when you're boosting around in the air. You have force injectors level 3, you get leg buffer level 2, and optimized cooling level 2. You get maneuver armor, which yeah, that means you can boost through instant stuns, which the regular Unicorn can't. You get offense system. If you guys remember what offense system is, basically you can melee through instant stuns, which is pretty good for this suit because it has long-winded melee attacks, so you can tank a few stuns that way. And you do get a shield eye field. And with the shield eye field, you will take 70% less damage from beams when you get hit in the shield. So yeah, the NTD mode and the Awaken mode, yeah, these pretty good skill. And yeah, that about wraps it up for the Unicorn Gundam. And I gotta say, the Unicorn Gundam, I thought it was actually going to be like almost not exactly overpowered, but like right off the gate, super goddamn like oppressive. Something like the Rebabu, where as soon as people, you know, like day one, people were already using the Rebabu to slaughter the fuck out of everybody else at 650, right? I'm not seeing that with the Unicorn, and I think it's because of how weird the Unicorn can play. For people who are more used to exam suits, you know, they'll probably be fine with the Unicorn, right? There's some people who have to remember, first of all, to touch their touchpad button, not once, but even twice, or else, you know, their health will be drained. I should also mention with the health drain that if you have one health, you can be down to 1 health, and that's all. That's as much health you'll have left. It doesn't go any further than that. You don't die from the health drain. You just have 1 health left. So yeah, that is the Unicorn. I think it's a really good suit. I think I'll still play some other 700 suits. It seems to be just fine where it is, having played a bunch of matches already in rating. It seems like the Kshatriya can handle it pretty fine until, it gets up close to the NTD mode. If you have 0 melee resistance on your Kshatriya, then yeah, you're probably fucked, depending on what happens next. But it does have some weaknesses. If you're using the regular, or you're starting off the regular unicorn, you don't have maneuver armor, you don't have the crazy skills that the regular the NTD mode gives you. You do have a dodge roll, you have a melee combo controller, you have some pretty decent weapons, right? And you do have high range strength, and that does you basically become a general. You're a general that becomes a raid when you activate NTD mode. And honestly, you kind of sort of become a support when you activate Awakening mode. But the unicorn itself, it doesn't feel as oppressive as some suits that come out for these high cost matches. It feels pretty balanced. There's a strong support to keep it in check, and there's some strong generals to keep it in check. Because so far this thing only has 2 stuns, and they're not instant stuns too. Remember that. Even though one of them technically might as well be because it charges so fast. Like the Sinanju still has 3 separate stuns. The Rebawu at 700 has 3 separate stuns. And I should mention the Sinanju has 3 melee weapons too. The Unicorn still has melee priority level 2, so if you're an EZZ or a Zaku 4, you can still melee through the Unicorn, even when they're in NTD mode. You just have to be careful if he gets you first. Those Tomfas will do some fucking damage. So I think it's going to be... I think the Unicorn is a good suit overall. I think we're going to see what we're going to see with suits with the exam. We'll probably see some people play it a lot, but the really scary people are going to be the ones that will learn when and where to use NTD, how to make the most out of NTD, basically what they do with exam, right? But yeah, that'll be it. The end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And, type up in the comment section how you feel about the Unicorn Gundam. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And I do like it so far. I still feel like, well, because of how the NTD mode is and how it works, I feel like it's not really made for me at that point. The Unicorn Gundam, by itself, it's a pretty nice suit. I think it's going to do quite well at 700. And like I said, it seems like 700 is... There's a lot of strong suits at 700 that can keep this suit in check. Fucking hell, I've had a few Kshatriya matches where, the just melt the Unicorn, and hey, you're gonna activate NTD mode, and you're gonna lose even more health. Goodbye. And then, he ends up stunning me, and then I lose half my health. But, you get what my point is, though, right? It has a lot of balances. It's not, like I said, oppressive. And like I said, there's a lot of suits at this cost that either have 2 melee priority or they have multiple stuns, like the Unicorn. And it basically becomes a raid when it activates NTD mode. And again, there's still some suits like the Sinanju. The Sinanju still has mobile shooting, which will let you stop maneuver armor just straight up when you shoot somebody that's boosting that has maneuver armor. So that's a direct counter to the Unicorn. That's not something that you want to have happen when you have NTD mode. Your health's draining. You're below let's say 4,000 health, and then here comes Sinanju boosting at you, shoots you, and then combos you to death. So yeah, there's still some checks and balances for the Unicorn at this cost. I still think it's going to be a pretty powerful suit. It's definitely going to be one of those suits that when you see somebody master it, then it becomes a pretty scary suit, because they'll know when to dip in and out, when to, just do all this crazy stuff. I'm sure in the near future, we'll probably start seeing some really crazy videos being posted of the Unicorn. Unfortunately, I probably won't be a part of that group. I'll be the one motherfuckers trying to use the Bond dock at 700. So, yeah, that'll be it, and I will see you guys later. Oh, I should also mention... I should mention that, well, because now we have Unicorn... Wins the Banshee? Wins the Phoenix? Wins the Yangsha?